Guys, and warm welcome back to the channel. My name is Grace if you're new here, and this is the Rusty Thicket, where we do all sorts of Goblincore stuff. And today is officially Vlogmas. I'm so excited. We have so many projects coming up. I have all kinds of Christmas themed, Goblincore themed stuff. Stockings, cards, decorations, gift ideas, which is what we're doing today. But of course, first we have to check out our advent calendar. So if you've been following along, you know I redecorated this to kind of make it fit our aesthetic, and I had my husband fill it full of the candies that we went and got from a Japanese candy store just a couple of days ago. So we're gonna see what that first one is. Ooh. All right, so definitely something grape. I don't know what it says, so we're about to find out here in just a second, as soon as we change camera views. All right, so of course first, we just took this lucky piece of candy out of our advent calendar. We're gonna give that a go. It feels hard. It could be like a hard gumball or maybe just like a hard candy. It looks like, it actually reminds me of those old-timey Christmas candies. They have kind of that like sheen to them and that texture, if you know what I'm talking about. So grape things here in Japan are amazing. Not only do they have great grapes, but all of their grape stuff has to have actual grape in it, not just grape flavoring. If it has a picture of fruit on it, that goes for every piece of fruit candy here in Japan. But it's like if a grape was just a piece of candy. So good. Okay, sorry, I had to change the view of the camera because I couldn't see myself in it and it was freaking me out. Okay, anyway. So first I just want to say that this totally turned into a piece of gum that I have already chewed to death and back, and it was so good. It was like the hard candy to gum center, delicious, and it was grape all the way through, so good. If I can figure out the name of it, I'll put it in the comment section below. Maybe you can find it on like Amazon Japan or something. All right, sorry about the jets. They're just all over the place today. But what I really wanted to talk about was Goblincore gift ideas. So I have these 3 rules, and I think that they make the most sense when shopping for somebody who loves and appreciates the Goblincore aesthetic. The first one would be to try and find it secondhand. If you can't find it secondhand, buy it handmade. And if you can't find it both of those 2 things, then I would suggest trying to just make it as nature and cozy themed as possible, as, you know, sustainable and resourceable as possible. And I know that's not always the case, and Amazon just has cute stuff and sometimes you can't help it, but that's okay. As long as it is something you know that that friend or yourself will enjoy, then I think that it adds value to life. So the first thing I want to talk about is clothing. We've seen this here on the channel before, and actually I'm about to knit some little handmade like mushrooms and leaves and stuff in it, so don't miss that video in a few days. It's gonna be super cute. I obviously haven't done it yet, so I gotta figure out exactly how I'm gonna do it. And then the other thing is just like oversized, really cozy, comfortable stuff. I especially love it if it's in the jewel tones or, you know, that darker, earthier colors that just, you know, make you want to be warm and cozy on the couch reading a really good book. That's kind of the whole vibe you're going for. Anything that looks like it's been, like, especially if the yarn has been like hand done yarn where it's got the little flecks of stuff in it and things aren't like perfectly perfect looking. I would also even say just like a little thin line of glitter through stuff can make something a little extra shiny for the eye, and as a crow brain, that really, as long as it's not like too crazy glitter sparkly, I think it's really cute and definitely worth, you know, purchasing for somebody that loves this aesthetic. So that goes for like really cozy, soft socks, anything oversized, big beanies and hats, scarves, like I've said, jackets with buttons and zippers and pockets. The more the better. I love that look. I love, like, you know, dangly zipper pulls and you know, just little things, like I had a jacket one time with like the wrist zipper for your chapstick for like snowboarding and sledding, and it was so cool. Anything with like the patches on the elbows are really cool. Hand stitched or hand embroidered stuff especially. Things that are really big right now, I feel like, are those quilt jackets. If I could get my hands on a real handmade one, that would be amazing. Boots, but like chunky, thick boots that are gonna go somewhere, not just like, you know, cute ankle boots from the store or whatever. Something that's really going to, like a good hiking boot, that kind of thing. Something rugged. Anyway, so other than clothing, I would say the next thing on my list would be jewelry. And as a crow brain and somebody who loves shiny things, you really couldn't go wrong with any kind of jewelry. But I'm specifically talking about the nature stuff, like the really handmade, hammered, where you can like see the file grooves in it. Anything that, I mean, it can be real, you know, real gold and platinum even, but something that looks not like it came out of a factory, basically. Anything wire wrapped with gemstones. They don't even have to be like the fancy cut, you know, like diamonds and things like that. I'm talking, you know, tiger's eye and sodalite and things like that that are also very beautiful on their own, but would make great little additions to jewelry. Mixed metals, I think it's coming back in for sure. I didn't used to like it, and I've kind of found myself leaning into a little bit more mixed metal, as long as they're kind of, I don't want them like highly polished, you know. I don't want them to look too shiny. I kind of want a little bit of a vintage edge to them. Anything that looks like it's come out of the bog and a sea witch brought it to you as a talisman, that's cool. Anything that looks like it's from the Victorian era, things like that, you know. Also like charm bracelets, anything with lots of little trinkets and fun little things to look at, and things that open and close, or like, you know, those poison rings. You know, don't get any ideas or anything, but you know what I mean. Anything with little pockets that you can put little slips of paper in, that's very Goblincore. Okay, and on that same kind of idea, just rocks and gemstones, seashells, fossils, anything that you would find at like a rock shop, 100% a Goblincore enthusiast's like mecca. If they sell it there, chances are that we probably really like it. And on that same note, I would say any kind of entomology stuff. And at a lot of rock shops and things, you find like the butterflies in frames, or like those spiders in resin, that sort of thing. Very, very cool. If I could, I would have so much of that all over my walls if it wasn't for all the traveling and stuff. You know, butterflies and moths don't hold up through a whole bunch of moves. So one day I'll have them. I would also say along those same lines, because a lot of them kind of go hand in hand, but like bones and oddities, some stores, you know, you have to be kind of careful with bones. You want to make sure that they're ethically sourced, that they've died of natural causes, that they're not just being farmed for that specific thing. And it's hard to do that, and I understand. But if you're shopping, especially in like a local place or anything near, you know, like national parks and forestry services, most of those locations and like museum gift shops are going to have ethically sourced things. Just make sure you do a little bit of research. But bones, skulls, any kind of like kind of science-y on display type stuff, and that includes like books on those same sorts of items. I once found a book on fossils in a thrift shop, And I learned so much from that little bitty teeny tiny book that was just like a random museum in the area. Somebody had taken that book to a thrift shop, and it made me want to visit that museum, that then taught me even more stuff on the area. If you're ever in the Tennessee area, look up the Gray Fossil Museum. I believe that's what it's called. I'll make sure I put a link in the description box below for you guys. Sort of on that same page, I would say books for sure. Any kind of action adventure, especially if it's like through the jungle or just through forests or anything like that. You know, I would say like The Hobbit, any kind of like Lord of the Rings-esque stuff is going to be really good. I specifically love sci-fi and fantasy, specifically when they are together. You know, dragons and things like that are also very much me, and I feel like dragons, goblins, goblin hordes, all kind of goes hand in hand, I guess. And if it's not like a science-y, nature-themed book, I would try and find something more along the grand adventure line, where you're collecting things and, you know, having them propel the story a lot, like Excalibur or The One Ring and that kind of stuff, you know, because I feel like that's very Goblincore themed in its own way. And if you're not looking for that sort of thing and you kind of just want like really low-key short stories and stuff, I would obviously recommend Frog and Toad. Super cute. If you're into like Calvin and Hobbes type stuff, Frog and Toad is right up your alley. It's a little more PG, I guess. They don't have quite such adult sounding, you know, comic strips, but it's more story than comic anyway. They have like the single stories, and then they have the whole collection, which I have. I'll show you a picture of it here. And I'm also going to be showing you guys like my Pinterest and my current Goblincore wish list on Amazon and stuff, and those are going to be linked below for you to be able to follow and you know, maybe get some of your own ideas from there too. I have everything from like snail door knockers and, you know, frog rings and really cute like mushroom shirts and stuff like that I think you'll really like. So any kind of boxes, jars, bags, anything you can put little trinkets in, which also makes me say little trinkets, any kind of like little, you know, those things that you find at like trinket shops. I don't really know what else to call them, but they're usually little collector's items. We love little tiny things to put on shelves, and that kind of goes along with like the whole gemstone thing too. Dice. You can't be a goblin and not like dice, I don't think. I mean, it's even like a big thing in D&D. I never really played a lot of tabletop games until COVID came around, and I bought one set of dice, and now I have 6, and it is a real problem. It is a real addiction, and they're like tattoos. Once you get one, you can't stop. They're so beautiful, and some of them are so well made, and they look like little galaxies that you can hold in your hand. Beautiful. 100% I recommend. Goblincore people are going to love dice, even if they don't really use them. They're just pretty. And that kind of comes down to trinkets. Not super useful, but very pretty, and I'm all about the little shiny pretty things. And then I think the last thing I want to mention is art. So obviously, as an artist, I would say buy from your local artists first if you can. It's going to save you in shipping, it's going to save them in shipping, it's great for the local economy, all that kind of great stuff. But mostly it's just really nice to be able to go into a shop or go to a little art market, have that whole experience, and then be able to just walk home with it, wrap it up yourself, and not have to wait for it in the mail. That's especially nice, in my opinion. I like that instant gratification. So, you know, nature especially, but if you come across somebody like me that has bookmarks and tea-related things, Goblincore, cottagecore, a lot of those have kind of like an affinity for tea and cozy hot chocolate drinks and stuff like that, and sometimes I incorporate those into my paintings as well. But you know, magnets, little trinkety things that they can have around their home that have snails and mushrooms on them, because that's the sort of stuff that they love. And if you were like me a couple years ago, I lived in the desert and never had the opportunity to really be able to see those sorts of things on a regular basis. So being able to cover your home in them feels exceptionally good, because you don't have to go out and be in nature all the time to be able to have them around you in your home and to fill it full of beautiful things. But anyway, I hope you guys have liked this video. It's day 1 of Vlogmas, so tomorrow we're going to work on Christmas cards. I have a design that you guys can copy, and I would love to see your versions of it on social media. So I'm going to show you guys how to do all of that and how to download it. But yeah, if you guys have any other ideas, I would love to chat with you in the comment section below. Make sure you put those down there, and maybe I can make an updated list towards the end. So just remember those 3 things. Try and buy it secondhand if you can. If you can't, try and find it handmade. If you can't find it handmade, try and just make sure that it's super cozy and comforting. You know, that's the best part about Goblincore and cottagecore aesthetic. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment below, and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.